Hi viewers, this is J. Swami, Assistant Professor of Zoology. In this class, we are going to discuss cloning vectors. Under this topic, we will discuss introduction to cloning and cloning vectors, characteristics of vector, plasmid vector, different kinds of vectors like plasmid, cosmid, bacteriophage, yeast artificial chromosome, bacterial artificial chromosome, and so on. Let us see how we will define the cloning. Desired fragments are fragments of DNA inserted into a suitable vector to produce indefinite number of copies of genes is known as the cloning or gene cloning. Generally, these vectors are the DNA molecules that can carry a foreign DNA fragment. A vector must possess certain qualifications to be an efficient agent for transfer, maintenance, and amplification of passenger DNA. The vector should be very small and easy to isolate, and it acts as a transporting vehicle. Otherwise, the cloning vehicle or carrier DNA, and it is used to amplify DNA molecules. And the vector should be very small and easy to isolate. They must have one or more origin of replication so that they will be stable within host cell. Vector should have one or more unique restriction sites into which the recombinant DNA can be inserted. They should have a selectable marker like the antibiotic resistant gene, which allows recognition of transformants. Vector DNA can be inserted into host cell. Vector should not be toxic to the host cell. And these all are the characteristic features of the vectors. So that he is able to replicate in the host cell, and there should be a ORI site, origin of replication site, and there should be presence of selectable markers, presence of unique restriction sites, the small size, low molecular weight, polylinkers or multiple cloning sites should be there, and easy of purification, and it should contain regulatory elements like the promoters, terminators, ribosome binding sites. These are the unique features of the vectors. So here we are seeing different kinds of vectors like the PUC18 and PUC19. Here this is the ORI site, origin of replication, origin of replication, and these are the polylinker sequences, multiple cloning sites, and here there is a ampicillin resistance gene, ampicillin resistance gene, and LAGZ gene insert. So these are the sites for the action of different kinds of restriction endonuclease enzymes, E. coli R1 and Bacillus amyloliquefaciens, and if you observe Streptomyces albus SAL1, and PST1 means that is Providencias 2RT, and HIND3 that is Haemophilus influenza D3. So these are the different sites for the action of different restriction endonuclease enzymes. All these things the plasmid should, otherwise any vector should possess. And coming to the types of vectors, based on nature and sources, the vectors are grouped into different kinds like bacterial plasmids, cosmids, bacteriophages, phagemids, phosmids, artificial chromosome vectors, shuttle vectors, like that. And apart from all these types of vectors, let us see one by one. Start with the plasmids. Plasmids are the extra chromosomal, self-replicating and double-stranded closed circular DNA molecules present in bacterial cell. These are in the form of extra chromosomal material. A number of properties are specified by plasmids such as antibiotic and heavy metal resistance, nitrogen fixation, pollution degrading bacteriocin and toxin productions, colicin factors and so on. So that is plasmids are the extra chromosomal material and it has the self-replicating ability. They are circular double-stranded DNA structure. Most of them abundantly seen in the prokaryotes. In the eukaryotes, they may be present in the organisms like yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and nuclear plasmids like the Dictyostelium purpureum, and clone DNA ranging from 100 base pairs to 10 kilo base pairs. And there are different natural cloning vectors like the PSC 101 and COL E1. These are the plasmid characteristic features. And plasmid should have different advantages as the cloning vectors. They can be readily isolated from the cells. It possesses single restriction site for one or more restriction enzymes. Single restriction site for one or more restriction enzymes. And insertion of fragment DNA doesn't alter the replication properties. It can be reintroduced into the cells. Selective marker is present and transformants can be selected easily by using the selective medium. Multiple copy numbers are present in a cell, and if you observe here, this is the origin of replication and this is the resistant gene for the ampicillin, and in this region the DNA can be inserted, foreign DNA can be inserted. And coming to the different kinds of classification of the plasmids, there are F plasmids, those bacteria which have the F plasmids, that is F plus, and those which do not contain the F plasmids, they are the F negative. And there are R plasmids, for example RP4 in the Pseudomonas, RP4 in Pseudomonas, Col plasmids, Col E1 in Escherichia coli, degradative plasmids, TOL of Pseudomonas putida, virulence plasmids like PBR 322, 325, 328, PUC 18, PUC 19 and so on. There are different kinds of plasmids. This is the classification of plasmids. And coming to the best examples of the plasmid is plasmid PBR 322. Plasmid PBR 322. Here PBR 322 is a restructured plasmid vector. The term plasmid was named after the PBR is named after the two scientists. One is the Bolivar, Francisco Bolivar Zapata, and Rodriguez, Raymond L. Rodriguez. It was created in the year 1977 in the laboratory of Herbert Boyer at the University of California, San Francisco. This PBR 322 is a derived plasmid from naturally occurring plasmid Col E1, and composed of about 4,361 base pairs, and its replication may be faster. The plasmid has a point of origin of replication ORI site and two selectable marker resistance genes conferring resistance to antibiotics like ampicillin. Ampicillin R is the resistance gene, ampicillin resistance gene, and tetracycline R. Tet R means tetracycline R, and unique recognition sites for 20 restriction endonuclease enzymes. So, what is a resistant gene? Otherwise, the marker genes, genetic markers are the, for example, tetracycline resistance gene as a cloning site, and insertion of foreign segment of DNA will inactivate the TET gene. The recombinant plasmid will allow the cells to grow only in the presence of ampicillin but will not protect them against the tetracycline. So like that we will identify the transformants. And there are of about restriction enzyme site, there are 12 restriction enzyme sites. See here, there are two restriction sites in the ampicillin R gene region. PST1, that is the Providencia stewarti. PST means Providencia stewarti endonuclease enzyme site, and PVU, that is Proteus vulgaris. Proteus vulgaris 1. And there are 4 restriction enzyme sites in the TET region, that is the tetracycline resistant gene region. Apart from them, here there are 2 were given: BAMH1, Bacillus amyloliquefaciens 1, and SAL1, Streptomyces albus 1. These are the characteristic features of the plasmid PBR 322. This is the oocyte, and this is the gene which shows the resistance against the ampicillin, and this is the gene which shows resistance against the tetracycline. And the genetic marker is, for example, here in the ampicillin resistance gene there are 2 sites, let us assume. So one site we have cleaved the DNA here and we have inserted a new gene here. So whenever you cut the ampicillin R gene region, the ampicillin R gene get inactivated. So that is, previously it shows resistance against the ampicillin. So if you grow after the insertion of a new DNA fragment into the ampicillin gene, then it never shows resistance against the ampicillin, but it shows resistance against the tetracycline. Otherwise, in the other terms, you can also say if you insert the new gene here, it never shows the resistance against the tetracycline because the tetracycline gene has been damaged, but it shows resistance against the ampicillin. So that the genetic markers, they may be used for the selection of the transformants, those plasmids which get the foreign DNA fragment, that will be identified. Here it is clearly given. This is the total base pair number of total base pairs within the plasmid. This is the ampicillin gene region, and this is the tetracycline gene region, and these are the sites for the excision of the DNA by different kinds of restriction. All these terms, they are showing the restriction endonuclease enzymes from which bacteria they have been derived. So HIND3 means it is derived from the Haemophilus influenza D3 and Bacillus amyloliquefaciens and Streptomyces albus, like that. PST1 means Providencia stewarti and PVU means Proteus vulgaris, like that. And it is a restructured plasmid. So this is the complete picture of the PBR 322. Some portion has been taken from different kinds of organisms. For example, col E1, and here PMB, oocyte from the PMB, like that. Here TET gene from the R625, and here totally all these things to be included: ampicillin R gene from this side, tetracycline gene from this side, and oocyte from this side, and finally collectively forms the final shape. This is the restructured plasmid being formed from different portions of different organisms. And what are the advantages of the PBR 322 plasmid? Apart from the advantages, it is used to clone DNA segment which lengths of about 10 kilo base pairs, 10 kb. Easily purified, selectable marker allow easy selection, amplified of about 1000 to 3000 copies, used to study the prokaryotic translation and transcription process in the prokaryotes. And there are certain disadvantages of the PBR 322 plasmid: very high mobility and limitation in size of the desired gene. And coming to the one more example from the plasmids, that is the PBR 327. It has been constructed by a removing of about 1089 base pairs from the PBR 322 in between 1427 and 2516. In between these two, we have removed 1089 base pairs from the PBR 322. So the size is reduced and high copy number plasmid. It's a high copy number plasmid. Then the ampicillin tetracycline genes were found intact, but replicative and conjugative abilities have been changed from the PBR 322. The resultant plasmid is nothing but the PBR 327. What are the advantages? Smaller insertion site they have. It can take much smaller insert site, and detection is much simpler and reliable. Copy number is high and acts as a model system for understanding translation and transcription process of the prokaryotes. And there are certain disadvantages. It is non-conjugative. The process of detection takes time and size of insert is only 6 kb, whereas in the PBR 322 it is 10 kb. It should be remembered. See, this is the PBR 327. So the base pairs are only 3273. Coming to the another cloning vector that is in the form of plasmid is the PUC19. PUC19. It is available in pairs with reverse order of restriction sites related to LAC-Z promoter. LAC-Z promoter. It is constructed by scientists of University of California. UC means University of California. Plasmids were named after the scientists. PBR 322 named after names of the scientists like the Bolivar and Rodriguez. This PUC, it is the name of the university, University of California. Plasmid constructed in the University of California, and this 19 is the serial number. It possesses ampicillin resistance gene. Here you can observe ampicillin resistance gene and origin of replication and certain promoter regions and LAC-Z gene. Then origin of replication from the PBR 322 and LAC-Z gene from the E. coli, and there are PUC 18 and PUC 19 makes the one such pair. It may be always in the pairs. Next, coming to the second type of vectors, bacteriophages or bacteriophage. Generally, bacteriophages are the viruses that infect the bacteria that cause the diseases to the bacteria. It was discovered by Frederick W. Twart and Felix de Herilly. Felix de Herilly. It has linear DNA molecule, and the term coined by the term bacteriophage is very very important. The term bacteriophage coined by de Herilly, Felix de Herilly. It has linear DNA molecule. Single break will generate two fragments. Foreign DNA can be inserted to generate chimeric phage particle. The chimeric phage particle is isolated after Lytic cycle, but as the capacity of phage head is limited, some segments of phage DNA that are not having essential genes, they may be removed. The examples of different lambda phage vectors are lambda GT, EMBL3, etc. and M13 phage. It is a filamentous bacteriophage of E. coli whose single-stranded circular DNA has been modified variously to give rise M13 series of cloning vectors. So the best examples are the M13 phage, T4 phage, and T7 phage, P1 phage. There are different kinds of bacteriophages which efficiently work like the vectors. Let us see the lambda bacteriophage. It is most commonly used cloning vector. Its structure is similar to phage, consisting of head, tail, and the tail fibers. It has genome inside the capsid. Genome size is 48,502 bases. 48,502 bases are 48.5 kb in length and has 46 number of genes. 46 number of genes. Genome is double-stranded DNA having a origin of replication site. It is linear with protruding single-stranded sticky ends of 12 bases long called Cas sites. COS, Cas sites. The Cas sites are the sites of cleavage and are essential for packaging of mature phage DNA into the bacteriophage head. Bacteriophage head. Wild lambda phase has two limitations. Wild lambda phase has two limitations. Number one, 1/3 genome is non-essential and can be replaced by foreign gene of our interest. And number two, DNA is packed into infectious phage particles only when the size of genome is 40 to 50 kilobase pairs. So no packaging of recombinants takes place. No packaging of recombinants takes place. Then here you can see bacteriophage lambda. It's an electronic microscopic structure. There are two kinds of lambda phage vectors. They are the insertion vectors and the replacement vectors. The insertion vectors, see, this is a lambda genome. There are two kinds of lambda phage vectors. Insertion vectors, the best examples are the lambda GT10 and lambda ZEAP2. And replacement vectors, the best example is the lambda EMBL4. Lambda EMBL4. And insertion vectors, where you can see lambda GT10 can carry 8 kb fragment into E. coli R1 site in the CL gene. Lambda ZEAP2 10 kb insertion possible using any of the 6 enzymes. This is the insertion. And whereas the replacement vectors not insert, rather substitute lambda EMBL4, lambda GEM11, lambda GEM12. Here in insertion vectors, a large portion is non-essential region is detected and two arms of vector genome are ligated. It has a unique cleavage site where for the foreign DNA of 5 to 11 kb size that can be inserted. The best examples are the lambda GT10 and lambda ZAP2. And in the replacement vectors, most of the non-essential region is deleted and replaced with the desired DNA of about 8 to 24 kb in length. These vectors have two cleavage sites for restriction endonucleases which bound the deleted region. This region is replaced by the DNA insert in the process of cloning. The best example is the lambda EMBL4. So here we are removing the fragment and inserting the new one, but here substituting the new one. So this is the M13 phage. See here protein P6, protein P8 and supercoiled single strand DNA genome. This is the Ori site and these are the capsid protein genes and DNA replication single stranded circle, single strand DNA binding protein region, assembling of different proteins. And coming to the advantages of the bacteriophages, these are more efficient in cloning DNA greater than 20 kb in size, easy to screen large number of phage plaques, only recombinant lambda phage with DNA inserts can propagate, efficiency of gene transfer is high, storage of phage particles is easier. The disadvantages: chance for entry of recombinant into Leydig cycle. Lambda phage can survive in limited number of hosts. And coming to the cosmids, how the cosmids are used as the vectors. Cosmid is a hybrid vector which contains characteristics of both mid from the plasmid and cos sites from the bacteriophage. This is from the plasmid and this is from the bacteriophage. So that it is a hybrid vector which contains characteristic features of both plasmid and the bacteriophage. It was first developed by Collins and Hone in the year 1978. Collins and Hone in the year 1978. It is circular double-stranded DNA. It necessarily consists of a cos site to be phage lambda by the proteins that package DNA into phage particles, phage head region. A cosmid of 5 kb can take an insert of 35 to 42 kb foreign DNA, which much more than phage can accommodate. Then the best examples are the PJB8, PJC74, PJC70 and PHC70. So this is the PJB8 and this is a usual typical cosmid vector. So that is cosmid vector is a hybrid vector which is formed by the fusion of both plasmid and the bacteriophage. And cloning of foreign DNA in cosmid vector involve the following steps. The first one is ligation of foreign DNA between two cos sites, making concatameric DNA, in vitro packaging to introduce the DNA into phage head to form the matured phage particle, transduction of cloned DNA into Escherichia coli by transduction. After their entry into host cell, the cosmid are maintained as the plasmids. This is the process of cloning of a cosmid vector. And coming to the advantages, competent vectors for constructing the gene libraries, suitable to construct genome banks. Production and storage of clone is very simple. Analysis is easier due to large size of clones, high transformation efficiency. And disadvantages, replication is slower, unstable clones may obtain, lot of expertise is needed to construct a plasmid vector and cloning in the plasmid vector. And coming to the yeast artificial chromosome as the cloning vector, YAC, yeast artificial chromosome. Yeast artificial chromosome is an artificial vector which allows cloning of large segments of DNA in yeast cells. Yeast artificial chromosome was first described in the year 1983 by Murray and Jostock. It is designed to replicate in bacterial hosts like Escherichia coli as plasmid on absence of DNA insert. It is maintained as linear chromosome in budding yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It is smaller in size and in circular form, amplified in E. coli, while they are linear and very large in size, amplified in yeast. It can clone large segments of DNA ranging from 100 kb to 10 MB. Yeast artificial chromosome cloning vehicles are the plasmids, and final chimeric DNA is linear DNA molecule with telomeric ends. The linear form vector consists of cis-acting structural elements essential for behaving like a natural yeast chromosome. Here we can observe them. They are an automatically replicating sequences in the form of ARS, automatically replicating sequences, and a centromere, CN, and two telomeres, TL means telomeres, for the maintenance. And cloning of foreign DNA in yeast artificial chromosome vector involves the different steps. Number one is the yeast artificial chromosome vector is replicated as a circular plasmid inside the bacterial host with help of bacterial ORI sequence. Bacterial origin of replication sequence. A restriction enzyme cut circular plasmid at specific sites. So these are the restriction enzymes. They cut the plasmid specific site and generate linear chromosome with two telomere sites at terminal. Linear chromosome is cleaved with specific site with help of selectable markers. Desired DNA is ligated into YAC, that is yeast artificial chromosome vector. Recombinant vectors are transformed into yeast cells and screened for selectable markers to obtain recombinant colonies. The best examples for the yeast artificial chromosomes are the PYAC3, PYAC4. So the specialty of the yeast artificial chromosome containing ARS, automatically replicating sequences for the replication, and centromere, CN, centromere for the segregation, and TL, telomeres for the maintenance of the yeast artificial chromosome. So this is the process of constructing the yeast artificial chromosome and utilizing the yeast artificial chromosome in the form of vectors. The PYAC3 It has been isolated from the Saccharomyces cerevisiae and ligated to PYAC here, PYAC 3, PYAC 4. PYAC 3, P East artificial chromosome 3 has been isolated from the Saccharomyces cerevisiae and ligated to bacterial plasmid PBR 322. Size of PYAC3 is 11,400 base pairs. Cloning limit is 100 to 1000 kb. 100 to 1000 kb. It has an ARS, autonomously replicating segments, CN, that is a centromere, CN4, ARS. Then for centromeric function and TRP1 and URA3 selectable marker genes. TRP1 and URA3, these are the selectable marker genes. Then the advantages of the East artificial chromosomes: cloned DNA of about 1000 kb in size, steady preservation of eukaryotic DNA, mobilization of huge genetic elements, studying chromosomal transactions. East artificial chromosome library used for genome mapping, sequencing, assembly of clone contigs. Disadvantages are transformation efficiency is low, difficult to generate complete genomic libraries. And coming to the last one, that is the bacterial artificial chromosome, BAC. Bacterial artificial chromosome. Bacterial artificial chromosome is a DNA construct. It is a DNA construct based on a functional fertility plasmid, F plasmid. Functional fertility plasmid used for transforming and cloning in bacteria, usually in Escherichia coli. It has two strong promoters, T7 and as well as the SP6. T7 and the SP6 that are oriented in opposite directions. It has high carrying capacity of about 150 to 350 kilo base pairs. And high stability they have, hence they are used in construction of genomic libraries and genome projects like the Human Genome Project. It has sequences from Escherichia coli F plasmid and have ability to clone up to 70 to 200 kb fragments. 70 to 200 kb fragments. The best examples are the PUV-BBAC. PUV-BBAC. These all are about the bacterial artificial chromosome. So this is the PBAC. This is the oocyte, and here SP6, and this is the site of the PBR 322, and this is the PUC link and the sites of different restriction endonuclease enzymes. So these all are the plasmids, bacteriophages, cosmids, yeast artificial chromosome, and the bacterial artificial chromosome. These all are extensively used as the cloning vectors to clone the genes. Thank you one and all.